Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to CDEC versus Newbee. We're live here bringing you some Group B action as Day 3 of the International 2015 group stages get underway. Coming into this match, Team CDEC look like the dark horse that could potentially top this group. They sit 2-0-1, and because they've got the 2 wins to their name, they've got 6 points coming into today's action. Only having played 3 games, that puts them in potentially pole position if they can keep the win streak alive. As for Newbee, the opposition, they've had the tougher opponents up first, and they've tied everyone they've played. Newbee is just not an easy out, but at the same time has been unable to get the precious 3 points that come with a straight-up win. And, well, with that said, I'm LD. I'm joined here by Gods. Gods, this is going to be a bloodbath. We've got 2 CDEC games back-to-back after Newbee. They play Vici. And I think you and I both agree that CDEC fully capable of beating both of these teams.
Yeah, CDEC has been the kind of Cinderella story of TI5 so far. This team has caught a lot of people by surprise. I don't think people were surprised that they finished second behind eHome in the Chinese qualifier. I think they were definitely the favorite coming into the wildcard. But as far as coming to the main event, people probably looked at them as like a bottom 4 finisher for Group B. But they have completely shown up and caused all kinds of upsets. Sitting on a couple of wins, they've played less games than the rest of the teams in their group. They are a serious contender right now, not just for top 4 of their group, but you look at the TI main event, the way they're playing, they could be a top 6, top 8 contender as well. So
we talked about them as top 8 coming in, I think, just based on the wild card. After that, before that felt like, okay, this team will probably win the wild card, and maybe they don't finish in the bottom 4. But after the wild card, and then especially after day 1, I think you and I were both of the same mind that this is a team that can not only get into the top 8, but could potentially make a deep run. And I mean, the best way to do it is to have a really solid group stage, maybe even finish first or second in the group and have an easier winner bracket round 1 match. So let's not get ahead of ourselves here. They haven't even necessarily secured the top 4, but they do look strong coming in. Newbee off of a 1-1 split with Empire, looked dominant in Game 1 and then in Game 2. It was close, and it was a sequence of pickoffs from Empire that just allowed them to snowball down the middle lane. Resolution got a little out of hand on his TA, and Newbee ended up dropping that game too. So they come off of a tie as the only result they've had so far. Here comes the draft, Gods. First overall pick, Bounty Hunter. Interestingly, the Tusk slips through. Nobody wants to get their hands on him just yet, and, well, Shadow Fiend also in the pool.
yeah, CDEC, I think, more just wanting to pick towards their strength. They banned the less track when they have first pick, and I think it was kind of pseudo in the hopes that they can just get their hands on a first pick gyrocopter. That's been the aggressive classic, but I mean, Newbee, they're going to know it. They just say, we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to give your carry player his best hero that's been controlling and dominating games constantly. So Bounty Hunter going to be the choice for CDEC. Newbee take Queen of Pain. Seen a bit of the Queen of Pain here, also a pseudo-deny pick because CDEC like to run the Queen of Pain as actually in the safe lane as well for aggressive as a kind of substitute for the gyrocopter. So it works kind of in 2 ways for Newbee.
It definitely does. Now, well, for CDEC, of course, want to keep our eyes on the Templar Assassin of Shiki. That hero has been extremely popular over this event, and something they have gone to, can go well with the BH, can be nice against the Queen of Pain. As long as there's no sentry mid, you can always just melt dodge the Shadow Strike and keep your CS going. Newbee will grab the Tusk. This, to me, as much a block pick as it is a pick. Again, just the type of hero that CDEC like. The run at you and just fight. Look for this team from the 5 to 6 minute mark to just constantly be smoke ganking, applying pressure, but Gods, teams are catching on. They saw the Tusk Techie shenanigans earlier from Secret, and CDEC want no part of it. I'm not sure if Newbee have ever run a Techies, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think we saw one Techies ban yesterday against the Chinese team. We're just like, do they even play Techies? They haven't got any record of competitive games on it, but you never know. If a team's been like secretly practicing it, yeah, that can quickly become a problem.
The cheesy heroes are getting removed. It's time for the Brood Mama to bite the dust here as well. These teams want more of a straight-up game, and it seems, at least so far, we're more likely to get one with these 2 bans. So, CDEC do grab the Lina. How do they run this? Is this the Shiki hero? I believe they generally play it as a core.
Yeah, I feel like it's quite likely a core Lina.
Actually, you know what? First is Hot 6. They did run it as a support. And they also ran it as a support versus VP and Empire.
It makes a bad solo, like, Bounty's a roamer. Like, you
Yeah.
don't have any setup, you don't have a support partner for the lane, and that's where
It could be more of a core here. Yeah, they never ran it
Yeah.
with a bounty as a support, so that is a good point. Given that, it may switch into more of a core role.
One of those heroes that could always be running the safe lane as well as a core. It doesn't have to be towards the mid lane. Something we've seen like EG do with Fear, VP like to do it with Illidan. So
A little squishier, not quite the same mold as a gyro, but we'll have to see how versatile aggressive is this particular game. Also, Storm still in the pool with the Bounty Hunter. You'd expect CDEC to go for a little more pickoff potential, some burst, so definitely a possibility. CDEC banning out the Razor suggests they may want a slightly weaker laner here and just don't want to get run over early on. Not normally a go-to ban versus pretty much any team in the tournament.
yeah, it kind of protects some offlaners a bit depending on what they want to get there. If you want to go for like a Spirit Breaker, a Tide type pick. Clockwork, the big offlane, is still in the pool, but CDEC, I think they're fairly flexible with their offlane selections. It's not something they actually pick up that early on in the draft typically.
Newbee now, very safe opening, Queen of Pain Tusk, and remains a well-rounded draft. They get the Dazzle, they have some lockdown, team fight, carry potential, not really a hardcore yet, but yeah, CDEC dropping the PL on them. Three picks in, there is an Earthshaker, actually no, Earthshaker's banned. There isn't really excellent control. The Gyro also removed the Leshrac, probably one of the best heroes to deal with PL until he gets to that 5-6 slotted status. How did Newbee look to respond to this?
So Anti-Mage isn't bad against as far as the Newbee draft. They can definitely protect him with the Dazzle support and CDEC. You commit to the Bounty Hunter, so an offensive trialing isn't really possible. And Newbee, if they need to, they haven't gotten for a greedy secondary support. They haven't picked their second support. So if they fear aggression, they pick up the Witch Doctor, the CM, whatever it may be, to protect an Anti-Mage. So Anti-Mage works. It's a possible safe lane carry if they want to go that direction. The other option is you go for aggression, and that's where you look to kind of take control of the game before the PL even becomes relevant. Get something like a Storm Spirit or a Viper, I was about to say, and Storm Spirit's going to be the name of the game here. And there's your two calls, Storm and Queen of Pain, at least your two, like your carry and your safe laner, presumably. So they're not going to be going for any kind of big late game carry. These heroes can scale towards the late game, but they're looking to dominate and pressure the PL constantly.
And it makes it tough to split push here. Now, at the same time, a farm PL devastates these three int heroes that Newbee have, and they know what they want to stay ahead. They definitely don't want to be going 30, 40 minutes in an even game with track gold coming into play, heavy burst from Alina potentially, but Newbee do scale pretty well in their own right here.
It's a great Storm game too, because there's no real good way to lock a Storm down.
It's where maybe the Lina is more of a core, and you get that support that is locked down. Lion comes to mind. Not a great Rubik game. Definitely not versus Tusk and Dazzle. Who else would be a stronger zoning lockdown support? Wyvern, maybe a possibility?
I like the idea you mentioned of a Lion here with like the Lina mid. Because Alina, at some point, you have that kind of time in the game where if you go for the Yule Scepter, you can do the Yule's Light Strike Array, and Storm can't get out of that with the Bolt Lightning. So the Wyvern's actually had a terrible win rate this tournament. I remember we're all talking about like, what are the picks? And everyone was on the Wyvern hype train. Me especially, I was like, this is the support. And
hasn't quite lived up to it.
No, he really hasn't.
But we have seen those games where Wyvern single-handedly takes over it. I don't know that the hero's weak. It's just more teams aren't finding the right situations for him.
He's got a early game. His first spell just has such a long cooldown. Is one of the kind of big things for him. He doesn't have that constant laning presence. So
It's Run It Udota from CDEC. So Spirit Breaker, almost certainly an off-laner at this point with the Bounty Hunter support. Now the big question is it that solo mid Lina, or is there any chance that CDEC mix it up and decide to run her as a support? That's the big question mark for CDEC. I think Newbee are going to expect a core Lina. Let's see what they ban.
Yeah, so if you're possibilities, if you're not running the mid Lina, the TA and the Shadow Fiend, probably the two main mid choices for CDEC. They've run a couple games of Dragon Knight as well. If they want to be able to run at them and then also take towers, Dragon Knight kind of fits in nicely. But
interesting. It could have been a pretty scary Skywrath game. Now, obviously, he falls off later, but through the first 10, 15 minutes, it's a feeding frenzy. 3 int heroes. The silence could be really strong. One of the better zoning supports versus a Tusk especially, who just gets pummeled by the constant magic damage. And I guess Newbee want to try to shore up these lanes here with this ban more than anything.
yeah, I quite like the ban, actually. Because Lion, as much as he's great as an answer to the Storm, he's not the dominant laner that a Skywrath Mage can be, so... Last ban now for CDEC, and probably targeting a support, but Newbee actually one of the few teams who run the Tusk on the support role from time to time. He's had a much better win rate in the off lane, but...
Really? They do ban the Darkseer, so... It could even, I guess theoretically, could be an off-lane Queen of Pain, but she's not going to fare very well here against a Phantom Lancer. Not without some strong help. Maybe Tusquap.
Yeah, dual lanes I mean, that's kind of the trending thing, I guess.
Dual lanes seem really popular, and even if they end up backing off of them, they like to show those heroes in the lanes early.
If you're putting the Quap off lane, it's to make space for some kind of a last pick that you feel is going to really, I guess, be able to deal with the PL.
Something to go mid, perhaps. Maybe safe lane if you want to put Storm there. I mean, Newbee have flexibility. That is the nice thing about the Storm Quap as your cores is they can go to any lane aside from Storm to the off lane.
If Newbee want, they could Shadow Fiend, but at that point you're getting greedy. So.
All right, you were right, Gods. It's a support Tusk. Tusk Slardar. This is a severe face rush lineup if I've ever seen one. You can snowball in, you can bolt your way forward, blink and crush and slither. All kinds of initiation for Newbee. And CDEC, as much as they have their own chasing power, they've got almost zero disengage, pretty much no defensive heroes. The game does have potential to get out of hand, and CDEC in particular, more so than Newbee, have very little way to recover if they start getting run over early.
Yeah, and so much minus armor coming out of Slardar and Dazzle, and that's...
I mean, is this where you want like a Naga even? Something just to be a sturdier frontline support? No, it's a Silencer. How is the Silencer going to be played?
Don't know if that was the pick. I mean, yeah, Silence is fantastic against Quap, Storm. These are mobile heroes who rely on casting spells to get out, but...
Tusk Slardar, man. That just looks like free food.
CDEC's teamfight looks incredibly weak here. It's going to be a core Silencer by the looks of things as Shiki picks it up. But
maybe they even put a mid. I mean, generally he plays that mid role. We'll see if they want to just put him into the safe lane. I'm just trying to
think of like how does CDEC actually take a fight? They charge in with a Spirit Breaker, but there's no follow-up. There's no reliable ways to kill heroes. They silence and potentially kill one.
Then they throw the lances, they chase for a while, they track.
Exactly,
you let you Dragon Slave, and then Global wears off and you all die.
The way CDEC's draft works is they're going to be having prolonged fights. They haven't got ways... I mean, you've got some burst damage coming out of a Lina, but this is a support Lina to keep in mind. It's very much a, let's have a long, prolonged fight where PL is wreaking havoc, having tons of illusions, throwing lances around Spirit Breaker, getting multiple charges off, Bounty Hunter just poking around, throwing lots of tracks. You're not looking for quick fights, and that means the Global Silence is only going to be so useful here. They do swap back, so it's not going to be a core Silencer.
That in particular would have been very strange, but we're not going to see it this time around, as you point out. And the teams get underway. Newbee off the bat. 5-hero level 1 smoke. Tusk leading the way. Sang-Sheng will be handling that. He's got Dust ready. They are just looking for Garter to show his ugly mug in this bottom lane. He will go invis. He's going to be the one that breaks the smoke. And if he does and he's not in a great position, oh, that's likely to be your first blood. Garter runs in straight onto the dust. Pile in, boys. We've got a bounty hunter here bottom. It's a feeding frenzy for Newbee. They'll collect the first blood, and they also deny the warding of CDEC, perhaps even more importantly. These camps will not be blocked, so they can go back to later on. Great start for the TI4 champions.
Yeah, that's just... smart play. Level 1 smokes, I think, in general, are a really bad idea, except when you're against a bounty hunter. It works out so nicely.
That's just the decision-making of a veteran team. A lot of teams just let the bounty get up in their face, and Newbee, they were ready for it.
And that's Storm getting the last hit as well, which I think is the ideal scenario. Slardar getting it for a fast boots is kind of nice for zoning the offlane, but Storm, bounty rune and a first blood. This is he's already got his bottle out and 200 gold on top, so...
That's just a thing of beauty if you're a Newbee fan. Off to a nice start. So, taking a look at the wards here, there's a Radiant Observer ward planted down bottom in their safe lane. And similarly, we do see another defensive lane ward here for CDEC. So, nobody getting the aggressive lane wards out.
Yep.
Let's see, what are the matchups going to be? Shiki on the Lina mid. Already going to take a bit of pressure from Sang-Sheng. He's spotted by Garter, who immediately starts giving him a bit of right-click harass, has the Orb of Venom. Just looking to protect his Lina early on.
Yeah, and Mu has a Sentry Ward, but Bounty Hunter has 2 Sentry Wards. So this is not going to be a Sentry battle that Newbee can really win in this mid lane.
Well, gods, let me tell you, we're not sure how Q's silencer will fit in later, but it's going to fit in just great now, top lane. This will not be fun. That's a long way to go. I'm not sure Sansheng wants to stick around for this. He'll take a chop from the Lance. Backs off. And then the last lane, we haven't really taken a look at it yet. It's Banana on the Dazzle. Going to be protecting Rabbit's Slardar as XZ plays the offlane Spirit Breaker. Dual lane potentially. There is some kill power here. But it's going to take an overextension from Newbee to make it happen.
Rabbit's saying, I'm going to fight your 17% with my own bash. He doesn't go for points in sprint, says, I'm going to get the bash.
Well, 10% versus 17.
He's already losing, yeah. He's been bashed twice in a row.
And we all know it's 17% not to bash, so it's pretty much guaranteed the Spirit Breaker will come out on top.
June proved that in their last game against Empire. He was like solo killing Yoku in lane with like a triple bash. It was ridiculous.
It's a lot of fun to watch. Uh-oh, aggressive, taking some harass here, and they ball onto Q, catching him out inside of the Ice Shards. Beautiful way to initiate this one. Although Sansheng takes some damage on the way out, Aggressive is going to turn it with a doppelganger, a 1-for-1. Yes, he pokes him to death. The Phantom Lance are going to work. June has no more mana, but does have stick charges. He's thinking about a go back in, but he doesn't have the Scream just yet. As Moo is charged bottom, XC, that's my double damager, and get the hell away. Not terrible for CDEC getting the PL the early kill. And now they are looking to move Garter towards top. There's no Radiant Vision of this rotation. If they can get that Silencer out to the lane soon, they might have an opening, but he's got to hoof it back. Does not have, well, actually does have a TP, but did not want to use it to get out here.
Yeah, just a level 1 Bounty Hunter, no Janata yet. Also the PL a bit mana starved. He wants to make sure he has the Spirit Lance and the Doppelganger. He's just about to reach the mana he needs.
They really want to bait this, but Garter got spotted. Yep. The freshly planted Radiant Observer, and immediately Garter's going to get the D-Ward off. This is very nice for him. 50 gold, much needed, and level 2. Thank you very much. And now he does have the Janata. And Newbee going to have to play this top lane a bit more defensively.
Just aware he's here, so it's going to be June in the front lines. If he needs to, he'll just blink backwards. And
they're going on him. Oh, yeah. There you go. Blinks out.
Straightforward blink out, and you just want to force that out, gets him down even lower mana, so his ability to stay in this lane going to be challenged. But he's gone for a bottle first on June's Queen of Pain, so once that gets delivered, this top lane will be kind of back to even for Newbee.
Well, in the mid lane, we do see Shiki pulling ahead pretty substantially over Moo, and it's without actually getting much help from the Bounty Hunter. There's even a Sentry planted to support Moo and let him know he's safe. Lina, generally known for winning a lot of these 1v1 matchups, and Storm, apparently no exception for Sheik. He just has a bit better harass with the superior attack range, the longer range nuke, but as long as you don't die as Storm, you can always just go back to the jungle and catch up later on.
We'll see what happens around the 4-minute rune. That's going to be important for both these mid laners, for even the Queen of Pain in the off lane, and something that the teams are likely to both make a go at, especially towards that top rune. And it's going to be, I think, maybe tough for Newbee to actually get their hands on, although June is headed that direction.
CDEC want the double rune spawn, and they're going to get it here for free. Shiki, Illusion top, not really ideal, and well, bottom lane, XC grabbing the bounty.
It's Bottle Crow time, I guess, for Newbee. Maybe not for the Storm. He's still full HP and mana.
Even full HP isn't always enough against Alina. Just even like a single bounty hunter attack, if you get the Slave Laguna, almost enough to kill him from full HP.
And you always have to be a little bit worried about those Spirit Breaker charges coming in as well before you hit level 6. So Moo kind of jungles one camp, tries to just accelerate himself to level 6 in the most safe and cautious way possible.
And boy, is he safe and cautious or what. He's going to walk all the way back, meets the Faceless Rex.
That's a misclick from Moo. The
Band of Elephant Skin Storm.
Guys, that's a first.
Well, okay, Storm lost some weight, all right? So he's very fleet of foot, and he just wants to show off by getting some extra agi.
Storm, new agi hero.
Charge bottom. Onto Banana. Slardar going to rotate in, and doesn't even have to really get that close. Just pokes his ugly head, and let me tell you guys, it is an ugly, ugly head. I don't know when this is going to get changed. We've got Source 2. We've got no new model in sight. I don't know what Valve is doing with our $60 million.
You don't like the lantern? It reminds me of the lantern Pokemon.
It's called Lantern in Pokemon, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I think that's right. Dude, that guy was awesome. Well, I think the upgrade one was like Ampharos or something.
They always have some like really crappy puns in Pokemon, like just the most abominable puns you can think of.
Maybe
but I love them anyway.
Blame the translation. You know, it didn't translate well from Japanese, maybe.
are getting their levels on the silencer here. Something that you always want to keep an eye on when you see that 4 or 5 position silencers. When's he going to get level 6? That's question number 1. Answer is pretty quickly. But then the bigger question is, and what I'm curious to find out, what do they do with the ultimate? Is it going to set up a charge? Do they maybe go for a smoke gank on the back of it? What's the play here?
Well, for now, both teams staying pretty quiet. June is headed back to the top lane with Sansheng, and Storm he's level 6 himself, but I don't see him looking to rotate a lot. He's going to have a TP score, probably look to counter gank, but for the most part, he only TPs to a lane if it's a guaranteed kill. That goes without saying, but he'd much rather be farming if there's not kills to be had.
Garter again getting eyes on a hero, but it's Banana immediately walking onto mid. They just can't seem to find anybody on their own, and he'll plant down a lane ward, looking to protect his Storm, even a fresh sentry in the mid lane.
Making sure they're not stacking camps. And
This is reminding me a bit of the bounty hunter we saw out of FY when he was shut down a lot versus EG, where he couldn't find any kills, but he did do a good job of getting the aggressive wards out. Also something that you see out of Shao 8. So clearly these players have been watching each other's replays, and they know the fine art of being off the map.
yeah, it used to be that it felt like bounties had to get kills and get like assists or a lot of pressure done to be useful, but nowadays it's kind of changed where just getting scouting information, being a mobile ward is much more the kind of playstyle you have to do as a bounty hunter, because getting too aggressive, teams are just too good at dealing with bounty with sentries, rotations, and you end up just dying too much playing that way. So much more defensive nature, and that's what we're seeing more and more of.
Shiki has the ultimate if he... Oh, Moo knew it too. He's got the hill ward, and this is going to be called out. He should have an idea that there is some vision down the hill. Was not spotted, as it is currently nighttime.
PL got pressured really heavily topping. Actually got forced to TP home from the Queen of Pain.
He's
and
gone bottle as
Tusk.
well. And you've got a PL bottle on the loose too.
Yep.
Just a lot of harass early, and this is the strength of the Newbee cores. Queen of Pain in the offlane, one of the better harassing heroes, and because of that Tusk, they just can't seem to kill her early on. Things looking nice for Newbee here in the laning stage. They've got about a 1250 gold lead, experience quite a bit closer, only 500. But they're starting to pull ahead in the farm department.
So the Storm, not as much as Storm can gank, he doesn't really want to. He'd prefer to be farming. But this slider, as soon as he hits Blink Dagger, he is going to be going all over the map looking to set up kills. He may look to head towards the Storm's lane, or maybe Storm comes to his lane, but the Storm slider duo can kill pretty much anyone on the map.
And the problem is, as we talked about in the draft, there's no defensive play here, really.
Yeah.
Maybe a global, but you only get that once every 2.5 minutes. That's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, and the beauty of this is that Rabbit can head towards any of the lanes. He can team up with a Queen of Pain who'll have a Scream and Sonic Wave, guaranteed kill on a PL probably. You go mid, it's a guaranteed kill on a Lina with the Storm. So any of the 3 lanes, you can find kills if you need.
Guaranteed kill, maybe top, but the silence is going to come out onto June. He's healed up by the stick charges. Oh, suddenly full HP. Shiki's got a Laguna. Will he get in range? Chase, my friend. He slaves him. Can't get the job done. The charge is coming, albeit slowly, and already June on the TP out. They might get Sansheng here. It has the dust, but that's not really going to help him against the dog pile of 3 heroes. 1 for 1. XZ, however, does get scouted out here by Moo in the mid lane. Well, CDEC happy with that overall. Looks like the gold goes their way. But this is before the Slardar of Rabbit comes online, and he's got his blink.
It's a great timing. He's going to probably instantly TP mid. Yeah, he's going mid.
Oh, and despite all the aggressive wards, they don't have anything behind the tower. You'd really love to have a ward.
Nether Strike on Moo, but they don't get the LSA.
Laguna, do we get it off? He's got the range, zaps him down right as the jump comes in. There's the crush. Oh, the quad bolt hits on 2. Newbee, quick and decisive retaliation.
Yeah.
But a Storm for Alina, still overall a relatively even trade, and Newbee do reveal the Blink Dagger. But, I mean, my question is, does it matter if it's revealed? Because I just don't see how CDEC deal with this right now, gods.
Yeah, I don't think it matters too much that it's being revealed. At the same time, CDEC could be so happy with that trade just because they weren't meant to get a kill there. That was meant to be just a clean pick off for Newbee on a core hero with a slider rotation, but Storm getting caught out, that's something going CDEC's way. Their initiation is just the Spirit Breaker, but they make it work with the charge after. And for CDEC, they've just got to buy time for PL to come online. It's going to take quite a bit. They've got to play defensively. That's why they're using the Bounty Hunter, just to get all these wards up. But I think these wards are almost going to become too deep. You need wards closer to the lane, closer to the Tier 1 towers to spot these slider rotations.
I like seeing this from Rabbit. He's the one buying the smokes here. Frees up the supports to get their basic items. He's already got what he needs, which is the blink, and he's just going to keep on moving around the map. They'll give the bottom lane to Banana's Dazzle. A slight risk of getting ganked here if he shows his face on his own, but it's worth the risk just to keep the Slardar off the map. And even if he's not ganking, you don't know where he is. You got to sit back. And as a result,
Everyone's
Newbee going to start really pulling ahead in the CS department. You can see now they're, I mean, what is that? 10, probably about 30 CS up on the cores alone. Only 11 minutes in.
You don't see Rabbit, and you know he could be smoked, just waiting for the PL to go for a last hit. He could be smoked at the mid lane, waiting for the Lina to go for a last hit. Nowhere is safe on the map at this point when Slardar is missing.
And there's the smoke. And he is missing. And they're scared. CDEC are going to smoke as well, but I feel like Newbee might be able to get a double. There is a global, though. Who's going to get the jump here? He balls in. Global. Will he get it off in the nick of time? Shiki completely changed on. Now they global. Another strike out of Rabbit. He's the tanky one, not the ideal target. They track him as well. Snowball crashing in. Going to hit on Q. Walrus punch will finish him off. Moo trying to ball out. He has bottle charges. XC also trapped, surrounded, and brought down. As June joins the fray, they do lose Moo. That's a track kill. They get another track out. June starting to take a beating from the Phantom Lancer. Sunshine has a snowball soon, though. Do they continue the chase? There's a secondary lance, but aggressive, now out of mana. Newbee just a bit stronger here. If that global goes off first, that's a different fight, but that's the power of the Slardar Storm initiation.
Yeah.
Zip, zap. Like that, you're dead.
That was the right play from CDEC. Slardar's missing off the map. He's definitely ganking us. Let's group up as 3 or 4, go for a smoke, and see what we can find on the map, because CDEC have to make sure they're the ones getting the jump, and they were very close to being in that position. Unfortunately, the Blink Crush catching 3 heroes. If Silencer was maybe just positioned a little bit further behind, could have been a different story, but it was the right move from CDEC, and it does show this team knows how to deal with the aggression of Slardar. It just didn't come up the right way right there.
Thanks to the track gold, they actually won that fight as far as the numbers go, but
yeah,
it's like you said, a lot of it's on aggressive. The difference is he's not the gyro this time around. He has to be patient here. He's got to keep his farm up. Phantom Lancer just not the same type of hero, but so far he's doing his job, maintaining the lead in terms of net worth.
And he showed up for kills too.
He's found the balance here. Garter getting scouted out. Well, mid lane. There's the jump in. They found Shiki, and again he goes down. They have to know there's a hill ward at this point. That's twice now Newbee have just come rushing in. And that ward has really paid for itself. 2 big kills on the Lina. Delaying the Yules, and the Yules is such a great answer to Slardar. You see him jump in, you can just precast the Yules if you've got vision. You can Yules yourself, you can remove the amp damage, but he doesn't get to do any of that without the vision.
And now another incredibly deep ward planted by Garter at the top hill. This is, again, not the most handy ward to have. There's still tier 1 towers up, but I think he just feels like if he puts wards near the tier 1 towers, giving kind of more useful vision, it's going to get instantly dewarded, because the Radiant side, Newbee, they're piling up sentries. They know there's a bounty hunter in the game. And they also know those are the crucial vision points that they've got to control. They're not worried about this spot being warded up at that top cliff. So if anything, and they look back on this replay like, oh, that's where he warded. They're not going to think, oh, crap, I wish we dewarded that. They're going to be like, well, he got forced to ward in a pretty useless spot.
So we are going to see the Bloodstone build out of Moo this game. Not a whole lot of control for the Storm. There's the Global, and there's the Charge. Maybe the Yule stun combo, but you got to get on top of him first. So
he's thinking he just wants to probably tank up so he can survive the global silence as much as possible.
That's a good point. We have seen the Yules build on occasion to deal with, like, say, a Skywrath Mage. Could have been a possibility here for Moo, but going to go with a more stock and standard build nowadays.
Yep. Another smoke from CDEC. They bring the PL also this time around.
They are rotating the whole gang in. We may see a 5-man rumble. CDEC, boy, they love their smokes around this stage of the game, but they don't really want the big team fight. They want the easy pickoff. Global comes out. Moo, nowhere to run. Charge, Nether Strike. Commit everything you've got to bring him down, CDEC. They will. Nice takedown there in the mid lane. And that's a Storm dead. Track gold piling in for, I believe it was 4 heroes. That's an 800 gold swing.
That's worth the global silence. That's kind of what it's here for in the early game. You use that ultimate to...
And now Newbee want to punish. They blink on mid. There's no tier 1. Q will be the victim of this. A 1-for-1 around the map. And while this global's down, Newbee, you got to expect they want to keep the heat up.
Yeah. A pretty unimportant kill on the silencer, though. That is the kind of a 5-position hero on the Dire side, so not a hero that really needs items this game, at least not until you really start getting towards the late game. Are you thinking, okay, at this point, yeah, maybe we want a 4-staff or a Glimmer Cape or the makings of a Refresher, but at this stage, CDEC are perfectly happy with Silencer not having anything in the way of item progression.
They may have to sack this tower top. CDEC were pinning it out. They knew Global's down, and we just can't take 5v5 fights without it. So let's go split push. take over the enemy woods, play keep away. Now you see me, now you don't.
Well, Aggressive has a Lina about to back him up here, so if Storm tries to farm and contest this lane.
Still no Yules, though, for Shiki.
Yeah.
He's really been neutered this game. 2, 3, and 1. Such an important item.
Well, he's just stacking the Radiant jungle for himself here to boost up that farm. And Daytime getting this kill bottom lane, probably not possible. They don't have global silence. I think they're just going to look for some farm here as far away from Newbee as possible.
And the counter gank potential for Newbee. Oh boy, you better watch out. But they found a double damage drone, and they're gonna chance it. They're going for the Roche. There's no Radiant Vision, but the tier 1's already down. And normally a Radiant squad at this point does one of two things. They either press for the tier 2 immediately and get aggressive wards up, or they back off and head straight down towards the middle of the map. Roche is dropping rather quickly, though, gods, and there is no rotation. The circle is drawn, but CDEC are going to sneak a Roche for free, even if Newbee shows up in time to try and contest this, maybe get some cleanup kills. You don't see many Chinese teams pull this off. It's generally more your Cloud9s who take that type of risk, and, well, CDEC, that's a big boost of momentum for them.
I think Visego's just like, there wasn't even really a risk there. They saw everyone at the top tier 1 tower, and they're like, well, they could potentially all TP to the tier 1, but they found a DD rune. They were in the position right by Roche. Like, they were just farming the Radiant jungle. That was the safest place for them to be farming. And you find a DD rune, you see 4 heroes at the tier 1, it's just like, oh, we can suddenly Roshan, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, very, very big pickup for CDEC, and they're going to be thrilled about that.
The Bounty Hunter tax is in full effect. I just want to look at Banana's net worth here. 1170. The next closest, a 2160 net worth silencer. And to me, this is purely two things. Track gold and having to buy a metric ton of sentries. Yep. You could just see these little green dots peppering the map. It's all up to him to keep the vision up. Maybe later on they can get the gem, but for now, it's even when you don't get the kills, you still slow down their economy just by existing as a Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, that's problematic, to say the least here. You definitely want some item progression on your Dazzle, medallions, glimmer capes, a lot of useful utility items you can get this game. But
I think he'd settle for a bracer right about now.
Yeah.
Maybe a magic wand
I was
if
saying,
he's feeling
an upgraded
bold.
magic stick would be crazy.
A big pickup.
Shiki has got the Yule Scepter now and already starting to farm a little beyond that. And CDEC can fight pretty well now. They've got an Aegis. They've got that little bit of protection here. So I imagine they will be looking to get aggressive and try find some more pickoffs, especially while Global's up. That's guaranteed kills if they can get that good charge initiation.
Every time it's up, they want to make their move. Still no BKBs on the Radiant side. They are building towards one on Rabbit. It's not available yet. There is a Radiant Observer. I think it's almost more suspicious that they don't see a single hero here bottom than if they actually saw 3 or 4. They're playing back a bit. But Q looks for the opening. There's the charge, the track coming out. Do they global at the right moment? Yes, they do. Moo can't back out. They can't grave him to save him. Laguna, they throw everything at him, and he dies in a hailfire of damage. Now the hunt onto Banana. Aggressive getting caught here. He's already doppelganger. They might be able to focus him. He dodges the quad bolt. Aggressive with the plays. And now onto Rabbit. They're getting the track gold. This is turning into a train wreck for Newbee as CDEC dogpile in. It's a double for Aggressive. It's 4 heroes dead. And once again, these young upstarts continue to deliver on the big stage. A 4,300 gold swing. That is sweet.
That was just huge here. And that really highlights the power of the PL and the Boots of Travel build, because he wasn't even there at the fight. He took the tier 1 top tower as well. Not only is it a 4 for nothing, they get the top tower, they're going to pressure this bottom tier 2 tower. They got so much out of that, and Newbee have really got to respect the power of this charge plus global that is just catching the Storm Spirit time and time again. I feel like they've just got to play way more defensively and have the vision of the charge coming in. Otherwise, they're just done for every time if the Storm gets picked off.
It makes me a little sad we're not on the mainstream, just because I would love to hear some stats from Knoxville about smoke ganks. I really feel like CDEC is one of the top 3 to 6 teams in the tournament when it comes to smoke gank success, and so many teams mess up the global. So often you see a silencer get caught, just pop it defensively to run away. They global too early, and Newbee just backs. They global too late, and Storm balls away or gets graved. That was just perfect. The right time, the right place. And now Newbee, all of a sudden, The gank train comes towards bottom.
They're not smoking towards anything right now.
They want to fight in this bottom lane. They want to fight while the global's down. Maybe they just take the tower. They forgot about the tower. CDEC got a little excited. They left it on 19 health, and Rabbit will take it. So, small boost of gold for Newbee. They'll definitely be happy, and I think it pays for the smoke. But by golly gods, look at that graph. That looks like a water slide, or maybe more of a roller coaster, just dropping off a cliff. This CDEC team, they are such a blast to cast.
Yeah, they just play really... And it's aggression, but it's always controlled aggression. They're not just going wild and uncontrollably in, hoping for the best as they dive towers. It's always very much they have a numbers advantage or they have a strategic approach towards the fight. With the charge global silence, the boots of travel pick up from aggressive. He knows he can be there and just get involved and take part in the action. This is the kind of carry play which the successful teams are doing at TI. You're having active carries who are coming to the fights as often as possible.
And to me, he's got to be on that short discussion of the big, young, up-and-coming players at the event. You've got Aggressive. Of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Maybe, who's been turning heads all over the place. And probably Saniko, the other really big one, who has never played at TI before, who's been so impressive on the highest levels. But CDEC still have to be careful. They are a bit weak in the teamfight department if the global's not just right.
Yep. And
Newbee are clustering up. They do not have any BKBs yet, but they are closing in on them.
So Mu has a Bloodstone now. He only had the point boost of the last fight.
They saw Garter. They're going to dust for this. They commit a lot just to kill off that Bounty Hunter. He doesn't die yet. The mech keeps him in fighting shape. They turn immediately with the Laguna. The Global did come out in the midst of it, and it forces a headlong retreat as Banana is purged and charged by the doppelganging PL. Storm trying to get on these backline heroes, but Garter's kept alive for now. Banana should die to this swarm of PL illusions. And next on the list may well be the Storm of Mu. Rabbit out of mana, surrounded. It's just an endless charge forward. PL illusion upon PL illusion as Aggressive screams his war cry. CDEC again. You just can't commit that much on a Bounty Hunter.
And Queen of Pain bought back as well. This is just financial loss after financial loss for Newbee. They can't... they're getting nothing in return. This fight, they picked off a Lina, but Lina kind of threw the ulti, used everything, and will be pretty happy with the outcome of that fight there, especially with the Queen of Pain buyback. So for CDEC, they are just dominating this game right now. They're completely outplaying Newbee.
Bounty Hunter is just not the hero you want to go on, it feels. Especially, well, I guess he's the mech carrier, but they didn't have like the positioning to just blow him up before he could get anything off, and Global was up is the other issue. All of a sudden, look at the gold discrepancy here. Aggressive, 2,700 gold. He's completed his boots of travel.
He just picked up a defusal 2 minutes ago, less than that it feels like.
And he's got his next item.
Yeah, this is scary stuff.
He's running a mint. He's 6-0-4. He's the leader in CS. He's basically the best at everything right now when it comes to this game of Dota 2.
For Newbee, they've got to just play passively until they have their anti-global silence items. Storm Spirit, BKB, Slaughter, BKB. Queen of Pain already has the Yule Scepter, but is going BKB on top of that, which I totally agree with, I feel. Unless it's an Ags. But
it makes you wonder, should Mu have gone, and of course hindsight 2020 here, but should he have gone for what Sumail does in this situation? Sumail, if he's up against a really strong silence, he always rushes the Yules. We've seen it like 3 or 4 times, and I've seen quite a few games where it makes the difference. Could that have been an item that changes the game for Newbee?
It's definitely a possibility where it's a great way to get out of that global silence. I think the one thing he was counting on was the fact that Queen of Pain was rushing the Yules, and he's hoping that the Yules will prevent the Spirit Breaker charge.
Oh, Garter pulled and trapped, and meanwhile bottom lane, Cheeky comes in as well, looking for the stun setup, but there's the global. They go onto Rabbit, committing heavily onto the initiator of Newbee. They bring him down. The fish has been turned into sushi, and Banana will die in about a half second.
Track after track
Just
after
doesn't even
track.
have a chance. This is getting out of hand, gods.
Yeah.
And it's not like Newbee can be confident about the late game. You're up against one of the best late game spells in Global and a PL with track gold. Not to mention the Lina, who's casually about to complete an Aghanim Scepter. In fact, it's on the courier, coming out right now. Level 2 ultimate already, soon to be level 3.
Yeah, Shiki had kind of a rough follow-up to the laning stage where he got picked off a couple times by the Slaughter Blink Dagger, but has not phased him at all. He is still out farming all 3 of the Newbee core heroes, so things for Lina looking very good as we head towards the late game, and I mean, all of CDEC. XZ is going to be having a Shadow Blade soon after the Midas pickup. His farm is not going to fall off because of this, and normally see Bounty Hunters kind of around the like 7th or 8th slot on net worth, but so many track kills has just skyrocketed Garda's net worth.
It was a Midas pickup for XZ, so the gold strat is in full effect here for CDEC, and now he's building into a Shadow Blade. You might think, oh, that's not very good against Slardar, but it's great when you're the one running in, and he's got the global to secure the charge.
Yeah, I think it's a really nice pickup. It means he won't just get thrown up in the air in Yules if they don't have detection for him. I mean, BKB is another way of doing that, but you'd rather they don't see you coming.
Absolutely. At the very least, then they probably get off the grave to help cover the retreat. Every time this global is up, look for CDEC to continue making moves around the map. They are down on smokes, though.
They can go for another Roshan, maybe.
One smoke, and then they're done for 8 minutes. So they may have to slow the game down a little bit around that time.
Yeah, I think try and push out the lanes a bit. Take this Roshan that's now back and available. Newbee will be very hesitant to contest Roshan with Global Silence available, and BKB's up on Slardar at least, but Storm Spirit still a ways away from his.
Well, let's see how the item progression is over on CDEC. We've talked about some of the items here. The Force Staff is going to be coming out for Q. Very nice to have against a Storm, against a Tusk Snowball, even a Slardar. And over for Newbee, you mentioned the BKB. Moo working on his own. He has a little bit of a ways to go. June also going into what looks to be a BKB. But like clockwork, every time the global is up, CDEC do something with the smoke. This time, they think about Roche, but then they think better of it. They want to find some more kills, and they're swinging on towards mid. Banana, the man in front. He might turn into a smoothie rather quickly if CDEC get their hands on him.
Yeah, they do one sweep through the enemy jungle, say, okay, nothing's here, let's go back for Roshan. I kind of like this move. Your ideal scenario is to find a core hero with that smoke, and then you can fall back and take Roshan, but you don't want to waste too much time running around.
The one hero whose net worth I neglected to mention, Mr. Banana.
He's
going the wrong way. Yeah. How low can he go? At some point, does he have to sell his boots for wards? He's down to 880 net worth. Brutal stuff. This is a support nightmare. And you're up against so much burst. Like, Lina can one-shot him with the ultimate. -7 damage. So if he takes 7 damage in a Laguna, he's dead.
Well, just almost a level 16 Lina, too.
Jump onto aggressive here. They get the snowball, the full combo. They get off the global, though. The 3-4 hero charge through. XC was ready. The cavalry have arrived. And CDEC are turning this one right back on its head. Shiki laying in and trying to force heroes back. They prevent the TP out from the Storm as he gets Cyclone. Bloodstone denies on the retreat. On the other side of the engagement, the apparently invincible Cow continues his chase. Aggressive will not be able to catch out June. And finally, TPing home is Sang Cheng. That charge, man, XC, but the global covering his initiation, there's just no way to stop it.
I guess the good news is CDEC only got 1 real kill, but a Storm Deny means he's chewing through these Bloodstone charges. More downtime for him. Global goes on cooldown. I just feel like Newbee have to go for a big smoke and get something done. While they haven't used the time when Global's been on cooldown to achieve enough. The one big time when Global's on cooldown, they pushed their top tier 1 tower, but they traded that for Roshan. CDEC has not been punished for the global cooldowns whatsoever this game.
It's not that Newbee hasn't tried. We have seen them smoke and just go for ganks 4 or 5 times this game, but CDEC haven't gotten caught. They've always been sitting back. They have good wards, and they're playing keep away when the global's on cooldown. And as soon as it's up, that switch flips, and in they go again for round 2. They're not making it easy here for the TI4 champs, who have been very hit or miss in a lot of their series. One game they dominate, the next game they struggle. CDEC looking to take this game 1 now, up to about a 14,000 gold lead, 12,000 experience. Firmly in command with an excellent late game and track gold at their side. But Newbee still being scrappy, trying to get their next round of items and just hang on. Pray for the big team fight. Pray that this global can be denied at some point by BKBs, by the Yule Scepter. it is theoretically possible. It's just the execution that's been lacking for Newbee.
Yeah, and to me, the other big worry for Newbee is their damage output is going to fall off towards the late game. They've got a lot of this minus armor, and I think it would be okay if they were in a more even game where minus armor can actually somewhat amplify Storm into a pseudo right-clicking carry when he goes balling in and zipping around, right-clicking with the overload procs. But when you're playing from behind, a Storm, Queen of Pain as your kind of magic damage, burst damage heroes is going to really just not scale that well into the late game. It doesn't work if you're not playing ahead. Like heroes like Lina, Storm, Quap can be great late game carries only when you're ahead.
And it's also the amp damage, you'd really want it against the PL especially, but he's always getting it off of himself, whether it's a Doppelganger, a Manta, a Diffusal Blade.
Yeah,
so you don't have the minus armor on arguably the most important hero to be able to focus down.
So yeah, so unreliable on him, and they're just forced to give up tier 2 towers at this point. They can't really defend them. Lena's also the one hero I guess you can reliably get amp damage on, but she's saying, well, let's try and counter that. Picks up a plate mail, building probably towards the Shiver's Guard, although AC not out of the realm of possibilities, but probably unlikely. Actually, Lotus Orb is great because you can use that to actually dispel the amp damage, so maybe Lotus Orb is going to be a consideration for Shiki.
It really could be. And, well, we'll have to see what the choice is. Maybe even the Snowball can be countered with this one. We saw that earlier today. The Queen of Pain all tossed out immediately. Now, that is an Axe for the Queen of Pain, but immediately gets thrown up in the air by the Yules.
Baited.
The stun comes out. Track Gold don't even need the Laguna. Sang Chang Kupi next. Here comes Spirit Breaker rushing forward. That's the Laguna. The Nether Strike back. They want some extra Track Gold and Aggressive. He figures Sang Chang's dead. He goes for Rabbit instead. Purging Banana. And they commit on him. They get him too. It's a triple for Shiki, who continues to get the job done for CDEC. Finally, Rabbit runs in, but it's on to 4 heroes. He's got a little help from Moo, and now the Global, and now Newbee are routed and completely without support. Trapped in their base, Sang Shade searches for answers.
He wants the Rampage, but no one's going to give it to him, LD.
It's 4. Can he get the fence, Shiki? He's close. He doesn't get it. Aggressive, you jerk. Taking all the glory for himself. And then CDEC all the way, 33 minutes in, 23-10. This has to be one of the biggest surprise stories of the International out of any of them that I've ever cast. This team just continues to deliver, and the best part is they did it with some new heroes this time around.
Yeah, they're doing it in style. They're doing it with a very similar approach to, they're very reminiscent to me of like LGD. They're great in the mid game with how they move around the map, great use of their smokes, really good at getting not just pickoffs but turning into towers and objectives. But they do what LGD is, but they just go even that next level of aggression. They're really catching teams by surprise by just how willing they are to go for kills, and they're even diving really early on, bringing in aggressive so fast. Even before he had the boots of travel, even before he finished off the drums, he was coming to team fights to help out and make sure things were going CDEC's way.
2 big things to add on to that. You already mentioned it, but just to highlight it again, they played so well around the global. The timing was right, and it's like, to me, it's almost more about what they do when they don't have the global, which is they don't make big mistakes. They don't overextend. They don't get caught. I think Newbee found 1 or 2 kills on the Lina mid. That was really it. And the other thing is they're surprisingly disciplined. Sure, like, the reason that they're so fun to cast is they just run in and kill people as a squad, but they also know when to back it off. They didn't run down mid and try to immediately go for X. They rotate top first. They push in that lane. All 3 lanes are pushing. Then they go for the GG. So even if that fight somehow goes badly, there's not many objectives for Newbee to claim on the way out. So just a great mix of offense and patience here from this team.
Yeah, this Group B is looking like a very probable CDEC top 4 with the way they're playing and their current standing, and if they can seal the deal in Game 2, and they're looking a lot stronger than Newbee right now,
they might win. If they can 2-0 Newbee, they have a very decent chance to finish second, if not actually win the group. There is EG to worry about still. Yeah. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with that. But the top 4 is looking like a reality if CDEC take this next game. Folks, thank you for joining us. He's Gods. I'm LD. We'll take a break here. When we come back, Game 2 of Newbee versus CDEC. Wowza. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Game 2 of this two-game showdown between CDEC and Newbee, the International 4 defending champions, with most of the same players returning here, minus an ever-so-important one, Mr. Xiao 8. They've done okay so far at the International 5, but they haven't been getting 2-0 wins. 4 ties coming in, and in this series they dropped Game 1, setting them up for, at best, 5 points through 5 games. This team is in desperate need of a 2-0, but they're going to have to look towards their last 2 series to claim one. On the other side, you've got the young guns, CDEC, who have come in hot again, completely surprising Newbee. They took Game 1 in style on the back of a Spirit Breaker, Global Silence combo, and just some great face rush. They're such a fun team to watch. They have them now right where they want them, and should CDEC win this game, they will have 9 points through 4 matches. Only teams that did better than that in the group stage were LGD and Secret Gods, who got 10 points in 4 matches.
CDEC are looking strong. They're looking scary. Newbee, they have their games. By no means have Newbee looked weak. They got a lot of flack coming in. There are some people who didn't think they were worthy of an invite, but I think all in all, most people thought, yeah, they're the defending champions. They've got 3 of the 5 players. They've done well enough since TI5, especially directly after since TI4. Right after TI4 up until about Christmas, they were doing really well. So I think they're definitely deserving of their invite. Most people don't doubt that, but I think they've surprised people by their performances. They take a game off EG. They've had 4 ties, though, is the problem here. So they've been taking games, but they haven't been getting 2-0 wins. And unfortunately, that can't change this series. So they've got to just get the draw if possible and then move forward to their last 2 series. One against Hot 6, which theoretically is the free win of the group, but you never really know. So they've really got to just up their game moving forward.
That's what Vici thought. The one team who dropped a game, and MP made it a stylish victory. Can't underestimate them. CDEC start with the Undying here. Now, normally the Tusk is their preferred follow-up if they want to play their standard style of Dota. Newbee are going to go for lane control. They pick up the Razor early. CDEC did opt to ban this in Phase 2 last time around. And Newbee will rotate into a Dazzle pick. So a fairly durable support, someone who can withstand the early aggression that an Undying brings, at least to a certain extent. And there you go. Your Tusk is on the field. This is normally the nightmare scenario versus CDEC, giving these 2 away.
Tusk Undying, the most brutal dual lane in Dota 2 right now.
And especially for CDEC. I mean, God, they love to run it. They didn't get the gyro, though. That was banned. So something for Newbee.
Yeah, this is where look towards Tusk Undying in the off lane, aggressive in a safe lane farming role with a support of some kind, and then you just need the Shiki hero for mid. So this is just a CDEC classic. This is them in their comfort zone. Newbee, though, they were willing to give it up. They've got some kind of a plan in mind. Razor, Dazzle, strong lane, and that's what you need against this Tusk Undying. I don't think you can run a dual lane. I think they need to go full tri-lane, get something like a Witch Doctor, a really strong range support to be able to stand a chance against this, and then just you're not really sacrificing your other lanes. It's just the old classic kind of 1-1-3 setup, and hope that you can get an off lane that can at least leech some experience and get the most out of the lane.
I would agree with that. You got to play it safe with this duo. As for CDEC, they ban out the Naga, a good disengage hero, someone who can deal with Undying later on. Yusong, focus the Tombstone. I wouldn't call it a hard counter, but it's a nice way to try and address the Undying and the zombie apocalypse that he brings to the table later on in the game. Also just tanky in general. And I mean, who knows? Maybe Newbee would even consider a carry Naga. Not something they're known for running, but desperate times call for desperate measures. 4th ban now to come out for CDEC. And pretty much can ban anything here. There's nothing that really jumps out as like, this hero must be banned to me, gods. Both teams are pretty open so far.
Yeah. I'm totally with you. I'm thinking there's like heroes like there's tri-lane supports you can ban out, but I don't think that's really something you're scared of. You'd rather ban one of the playmaker heroes. So they take out Darkseer. I think this is just kind of a comfort pick. June's been playing it a lot coming up to TI as well as even during TI. So we saw this in the previous game where they'll ban the Darkseer if they feel like the offlane is still open for Newbee, even though heroes like Clockwork, which for most teams are preferred, is still in the pool.
Let's see. Ban number 4 from Newbee here. No idea where CDEC want to take this. We saw the Phantom Lancer for aggressive last game, the Lina for Shiki. Yep. Lina's out of the picture. I wouldn't be so shocked if they even banned the PL as well.
Yeah, I think you ban PL or even Queen of Pain is another hero that CDEC aggressive plays the Queen of Pain in the safe lane even. So
The Darkseer ban kind of encourages the PL ban here just because he's so good at countering
Yeah.
illusion heroes, and that would be 3 melee as well, but it's a Shadow Fiend for Newbee. So settling down into 2 strong ranged heroes, also pretty good melee counters, I would say. In general, lots of AoE. Razor obviously excels against the melee cores, and they've got some physical damage here to focus on the Tombstone. They are lacking a frontliner. Maybe the Slardar comes out again for Newbee. We'll have to see, but I guess that would make the lanes a little bit tricky.
yeah, I think also the Slardar maybe proved to be a bit of a flop in game 1 as far as what it can contribute. Got the Blink Dagger, found like 1 or 2 kills on Lena, and from there Newbee just didn't really get much done. So maybe something they would just shy away from because of that. But CDEC do pick the Queen of Pain I was talking about, and they run this probably as much in the safe lane as they do mid, maybe more so in the safe lane. So no guarantees this is really going either direction, but it kind of depends if they feel like there's a carry they really want, like the PL, or if they're happy to play a more... I think they want to just go for a more snowbally kind of strategy where they have a safe lane Queen of Pain, the Tusk Undying, strong off lane, because that frees up... The Queen of Pain doesn't have to get much support. Your support can help the mid lane when you've got that Queen of Pain. We saw Secret do this when they were taking on LGD. If just S4 can dominate the lane against an offlaner, and then both supports can be pulling, stacking, off helping the mid lane, doing whatever else they want to do.
Well, as expected, should be a core Tusk now with the Witch Doctor pickup. So they do grab the second support you mentioned, a strong laner. Newbee went Bane, and Bane Dazzle is a pretty strong combo. This with the Razor, if they play it right, should be enough for the Undying Tusk. I mean, I am wondering, though, does CDEC even say, you know what, you think your defensive tri-lane is safe? That's okay. We're going offensive tri-lane and just running at you with Tusk Undying and a Witch Doctor.
It's definitely possible. I think the Witch Doctor will be a bit flexible, maybe switching from like mid to bot lane, from mid lane to the off lane as he's needed. So there's some kind of flexibility there for CDEC, but yeah, they can look to take him.
Do you think they win that lane if they play it right? That particular trio?
Lane? Dazzle, Bane, Razor, there's a lot of just range, chip, and harass potential there, so it's going to come down to the timing where once you get enough decay stacks, you snowball in, but I would give maybe a very slight edge towards Newbee, so I feel like you just want to play the Tusk Undying dual lane, harass as much as possible, wait for a misstep or a misplay, and then you pounce on it. But and if you don't get the beauty of the dual lane is if you don't get that kill and it's because they're tri-laning you, well, you've just soaked up 3 heroes' time, and these are going to be under-leveled, under-farmed supports on Newbee's side because of that.
Okay, so Decision Time will come out after this last ban, and it's the Spirit Breaker removed for Newbee, who are lacking an offlaner. Clockwork in the pool, not so good against Queen of Pain. Can be decent against Tusk Undying, but I wouldn't say great. What else comes to mind for you guys? Any offlaners for Newbee? I mean, unless they want to run an offlane Bane and go full Secret on us.
That'd be the secret way. Not entirely sure. I wonder if even... I don't think Newbee would consider dodging the Tusk Undying and going offensive tri-lane, but Clockwork is just such a strong, stable offlaner. Always look towards him, but I think the Spirit Breaker band's nice. I think it would have been better than the Clock just because of his durability, his just high effective HP, good armor. He can actually fight pretty well early into the Tombstone, more so than maybe a Clockwork can. Doesn't need as many levels before he can get active on the map, but...
I'm really thinking a Storm for CDEC could be a possibility, or what do you think? What do you think of an Ember? Is that too weak in the laning stage here?
Ember's great, I think. They can safe lane the Ember if they want to, and...
Because I'm just looking at Newbee, their only lockdown is a Bane.
Yeah.
That's all they got.
It suits the CDEC style, mid-game fighting. You get an Ember Spirit online around the time he hits level 9, level 10, and just take fight after fight. Great chasing potential, and you combine that with the Queen of Pain, the Tusk, you are going to just be running Newbee down.
Oh, Newbee, they want to shore up this team fight. They're worried about the Tombstone Snowball. Last hero I'll throw out there, Templar Assassin. It's a Shiki special. Maybe they run the aggressive Queen of Pain safe lane.
Yep.
I feel like it's going to be one of those 3, though. Storm, Ember, or the TA. Do you agree with that? And if so, do you favor any of those?
I really like the idea of the Ember Spirit. I think it's just such a good mid-game fighting tempo controller hero, and it also can be something you fall back on and just kind of turtle up for the late game. But
it is the TA.
TA comes out, and
it gives them a little more Roche potential. That was one area where they were lacking with a potential Ember pick.
Yeah. A bit more reliable late game too, just having huge burst damage and just that insta solo kill potential. For the Ember Spirit, he I mean, much like the TA, you need the items, but Ember Spirit, it's not like you just go in and you instantly get a kill. It's like you've got to slide a fist 2-3 times, and then maybe you found someone. But
and now they get to run their Queen of Pain safe lane for aggressive.
Yeah.
This is going to be tough times for June, and if CDEC have their wits about them, I wouldn't be surprised to see a very early ward planted in the Ancients just to prevent any catch-up Dota from June in the mid-game.
yeah, so I imagine we'll see quite a bit of time from Q, the Witch Doctor, spend in the mid lane, kind of just harassing the SF as well this game. Queen of Pain can do just fine against a Tidehunter, so will be an interesting laning stage here, and one where I think CDEC do have a slight edge. And you've got a Tusk Undying. If you haven't got an edge in the laning stage, you're doing something
Something
wrong.
has gone horribly wrong. So
Oh, they got 2 mangoes too. Laning stage secured. The more,
seriously.
he who has the most mangoes wins the laning stage.
Well, with
That's-
this duo, I mean, the Mango is no joke, especially on the Undying. Oh, Undy, you dirty old man. Here we go. CDEC Dire side leading 1-0 in the 2-game set. A win here gets them pole position in Group B with 9 points, right up there, and I think even surpassing EG through the first 4 games. Now, of course, they still have to play EG, so that could quickly change, and apparently EG looking good so far in today's opening action versus eHome. But Rabbit will be defending this bottom lane for Newbee. He'll be on the Razor. Banana, your Bane, also a Mango boy. Moo playing the Shadow Fiend, and Sangchain handling the Dazzle. Up towards top, June on an old stable hero, an RRTK special, the Tidehunter. As for CDEC, the XC Tusk is in the field. Garter handling the Undying. Shiki, the Templar Assassin. Q, the Witch Doctor. And then Aggressive, the Queen of Pain.
Always fun when both teams go for the same bounty rune, and that's exactly what the two teams are gearing up for, a 4v4 engagement.
Is there any way Newbee can win this? Oh, he has
No,
taken Decay already. Let's see, does he get the 2-hero Decay? He's trying to find it. They're being patient with this one. Out off the back come the Razors, but they go in with the Ice Shards and they start to engage. A lot of damage still, but Rabbit's the focal point here. Can they club him down? One more auto attack would do it. They don't have the damage. Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend forcing Shiki back, but he's got Refraction soon. Rabbit able to salve up. That regen forced out off the bat, and nobody dies
How's
just
nobody
yet.
dead, LD? What's going on here?
He didn't take Tombstone, man. Where's the
No,
level
no,
on Tombstone?
Decay for sure. Decay for
No,
sure.
I'm kidding.
It's the snowball you could maybe consider there, but they get the first blood.
And he salved
They didn't
too.
disappoint
Oh,
us.
the lane is a train wreck now. They've even got their mango still available.
Mango shards. No, the shards on cooldown. He'll wait. He actually has mana for his shards now.
Oh. Now this bottom lane gets fun.
Yeah.
And the first blood goes to the Undying. So off the bat, he's got boots. He's got a Decay stack to enter the lane with. And
yeah.
Rabbit is out a salve. And you need your regen versus this lane. It's also basically a stick for the Tusk of XC if he wants to pick it
Now,
up.
the one thing, just having 4 heroes that did do it, protected their pull camp. They're going to be able to... This is the crucial thing. Even though you're in a 3v2, you've got to pull. You've got to just deny experience, prevent the level. Like, the level 2 Undying. Suddenly you throw Tombstone in the mix. Level 3, you've got another point in Decay or Tombstone.
Jesus. It's
Oh.
2 nukes, running for his life, 2 tangos left. And now they're going to go to the pole camp.
So Undying got first blood, which means we could be in for a fast Arcane Boots here, depending on how they want to distribute the farm.
Yeah, maybe they just even quickly roll swap until he gets the Arcanes, because once this lane gets the mana regen, there's just no stopping them.
Yeah, they're coming in, just making sure they can contest these pulls as much as possible, but pesky stuff here is Gardo and XC going to have to just flip around the lane. So this is... It's still not going to be a... I don't think they're going to get a lot of kills here as the Tusk Undying, because unless they can really catch someone out of position going for the pulls, but they're going to look to just get as much in the way of levels and then try and have a rotation come their way to make something happen. Guard is actually going to be stacking Ancients as well for the TA, which is a move I like, especially against a tri-lane when you can't get kills and you can't contest the lane too well. You can make sure the TA has a great mid to late game.
June will grab a bounty, but Tusk gets a haste, and they've got eyes on Sangsheng.
He won't be able to get much with this.
You say that, but I've seen enough of these Tusk Undying lanes that I never rule anything out.
It's wearing off already.
Yeah, he's gonna. It did, yeah, that's right. It did get nerfed with the duration.
The new haste rune duration means if you're not bottling it, you're not getting much done with it.
They don't really need to, though, because look
No,
at the
no.
other lanes right now. In the mid lane, it's a 9-4 advantage for Shiki, and he's going to continue to at least stay even here. And in the top lane, I mean, my God, gods, 12 and 12, 13 and 12. June's got nothing but Ancients, and it's only 2.5 minutes in.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough time, and that's the beauty of the Queen of Pain safe lane. It's kind of talked about this in some of our games where there just seems to be a very small pool of safe lane carries you could pick, and Gyrocopter seems to be the main one. And that's where teams aren't really running safe lane carries. They're running heroes like Queen of Pain, Storm Spirit. There's been more Storm and Queen of Pain in the safe lane than there has been like Spectres or whatever. I mean, there hasn't been any Spectres for one thing, but like just your traditional safe lane farmers have disappeared, and Queen of Pain and Storm have taken over the safe lane. Lina has taken over the safe lane. Silencer has taken over the safe lane in the case of Virtus Pro. There's just, it's these intel semi-carries, which the heroes you run in the farming role nowadays.
1750 gold lead. We're 3.5 minutes in. Everyone's farming on CDEC. They're winning all 3 lanes here, I mean, to be totally honest about it. And the Tidehunter, although he has a double stack of Ancients, he's nowhere being able to farm this. And even the supports are being denied their experience because CDEC just waltz in, suck it all up. The 2 bruisers stand there and just leech everything they get. Well, Newbee, not having the kind of start. You see a Razor first pick and you're like, okay, these guys want to secure their lanes, but that has not been the case.
And they've got Ancients being stacked. Triple stack already for the Templar.
And here comes the fight. Let's get ready to rumble! CDEC jumping in, the Tombstone drop. They try to focus it, but Aggressive's here already! He's here in 4 minutes! It's a
He's
train
level
wreck
5!
He's ganking anyway! Rabbit's down! Banana on the run!
You can't be serious!
CDEC quad lane bottom to Newbee's dismay. They're gonna give up 3 kills. Can't even Nightmare deny. I don't think anybody at this event has been ready for this team.
Where's this Quap come from? He's level 5. It's not like he's just, like, you hit 6 as a Quap, you get Sonic Wave, you're like, yep, I'm going to TP into a lane, let's go for a gank now.
Jeez.
No, he's level 5. His lane was empty. He's like, this is boring, guys. I don't hit creeps. I hit heroes. I'm going to TP bottom, because he'd had an empty lane for 2 minutes. Does allow, Dazzle TP's top and takes a few CS, Ty gets a few CS. Who cares? You just got 3 kills for your team. That was the best rotation I've seen all TI5.
I think if you're pubbing, you're just like, why is there a Quap in my lane right now? You know, just like, what is this hero doing here? But, I mean, CDEC, they know what they're up to. With this draft, they saw the early advantage, and the second there's an opening, they pounce. And because Newbee's tri-laning, it's just like there's 3 heroes concentrated in a nice small area. It's easier to farm the kills. You don't have to move around as much, so... Oh, boy. All right, gods, if you're Newbee, what's the game plan? What's the game? Hey,
Okay.
You're the analyst, man. I got to ask you.
You got to stack lots and lots. You've got to get some levels on your Tide. Unfortunately, the Ancients have been blocked. You want to unblock that as soon as possible, and Moo needs his stacks in the jungle as well. This is going to turn into stack Dota, farm up the mech on Shadow Fiend, farm up whatever you can on Tide, and then group up and fight around the Tide Ravage. That is the general game plan here. They can't afford to give up too many more kills. They can't let CDEC snowball here. And also, they need to block these Ancients.
Look what's happened. Already a sentry's down. Not only are they dominating the lanes, but they're not losing their composure or losing sight of the big picture, which is there's a Tide in this game. He's pretty bad in the lane against Quap, so he's probably going to the Ancients. Only the single stack, but no more stacks to come until this gets dewarded. This team is they're just on top of Newbee. They've got him hook, line, and sinker, and now there's a jump on Moo mid. Shiki deploying an additional trap, and he's going to go, forcing out the TP. And as this TP is forced out, there may be a dive on the bottom lane. They know that they're -1 support here. Get ready for a snowball from XZ. Q's swinging around. There's no Radiant Vision of this rotation any moment now. If there's a cask opening, they may just go. And I'm looking at Newbee right now. They've got a TP on Rabbit, and he's already here. This could be a tower dive.
Oh, Aggressive has a TP
there you go.
as well.
Snowball, jump in again, Tombstone deployed. Who's going to focus it? Rabbit is stealing damage here, but they continue to chase with the Sigil and going anyway. Nice grave. Rabbit up to 84 damage, but he's still TPing out. He can't take the heat. He's got to run. It leaves Sang-Cheng to the Wolves. No grave, no TP. They just clobber him. Death by zombie. A horrible way to go, but better than losing your Razor. I mean, that was just inevitable once the TP was forced mid.
Yeah.
They just know how to pull Newbee around the map.
Now they start getting up the deep wards, and for Newbee, there's no real answer to that kind of play. You feel like you have to TP mid to protect your Shadow Fiend, which is the right call, but at that point, you've almost got to just abandon the bottom lane, and then you're giving up a tier 1 tower. So CDEC are the ones who are going to just keep getting further and further ahead. For Newbee, it's all about efficiency? How can they get the most out of what little farm and space they have on the map? And it's going to be tricky for them. The Tide needs levels before it can really contribute. Not just talking about Ravage, but getting levels in Anchor Smash so he can farm these stacks.
Well, speaking of farming stacks, that's what Cheeky's doing right now. He's going to walk down to the river. He gets slept, but he's already refracted. There will be a bounty rune grab by Moo, but the lanes are over now. Garter is just going to march on towards Moo. He rotates in. They've got the Bane up on the high ground, looking for the snowball opportunity. Everybody get on board. Snowball surrounded, dead. And more. They want more. Ice Shards also going to block up Banana. Beautiful catch. He panics and pops the smoke. That's not going to save you, Bubba. And down he'll go as well. Again and again, the brutal early game of CDEC paying off here. You can ban the Gyrocopter. You can try to ban the Bounty Hunter, but then you give them some other offensive powerhouses, and they just start playing Newbee like a fiddle.
This team is not a one-trick pony. They've got plenty of heroes in their arsenal, and it's very much like they kind of substitute things as needed, but then they maintain the same playstyle, and it's a sight to see so far.
Newbee is definitely doing everything they can, but, I mean, there's just not much.
Yeah.
They are going to have Ravage soon. That could be a game changer, potentially. They've got the level 4 raises, but there's so many things that can go wrong here. If there's a heal that comes out, if the Undying's able to just drop the Tombstone in a great location, it may not matter if you hit the full combo perfectly.
They've got vision of the Dire Ancients, but I would have much preferred to see them to have blocked off the Dire Ancients. And
oh, the Dire Ancients, yeah.
Put down the Wardens. It's like they want to maybe contest and go for kills, but when they're in such a defensive position, I think you just block it, because they've just stacked it twice, and at this point, the Ward is just watching them stack. By the time he farms it, it may have even expired.
There's your shards. Rampant able to retreat away. 4 of the top 5 heroes when it comes to net worth, all on the side of CDEC. And then when it comes to the mighty battle of the 5 position supports, a 1 creep advantage for Q, who's proudly marching around with a pair of boots. They hold the lead. 4K gold, 10 minutes in, only 2K experience. And Newbee do have this big team fight that they want to put to use, but the Rune of Trouble. Shiki picking up a haste rune here. Looks like he wants to clear the Ancients now. He's going to start working on the side blades. They'll give the mid lane to Q, try to get him his experience.
This is where, what does this board get you? Can you come in and contest this? You've got to commit 4 or 5 heroes if you want to.
He's got a haste. They need like a 5-hero smoke.
They TP'd in the
with
tie.
a Ravage. They got to commit everything for this.
Yeah. They can't. Well, they can steal the Ancients if they get low.
He's got stick as well. This is so tough for Newbee to get in, and Shiki's already dropped a trap. He's already seen the Bane. It's too late.
Yep.
And now they're going to counter-gank this. June is in front. He might find the 2-hero Ravage, but Garter, if he gets down the Tombstone, is going to completely ambush this gank. No Ravage yet. Where's the Tomb? Drops it quickly, and now immediately Shiki on the hunt, looking for Saint Chain. They try to focus the Tomb down. They do get it quickly. The shards are coming through, and June's held the ultimate. This is about as good as it's going to ever get for Newbee. They bring down the Queen of Pain of Aggressive. Buyback for the Witch Doctor. There's your punch. Dropping Moo in position. He requiems. He holds the line for now. He's kept alive for ages, in fact. Still pops like a pinata, a 2 for 2. Banana will be the 3rd man down. Maybe he can get the neutral to die simultaneously. Garter running for his life from Rabbit, but the Plasma Field's on cooldown for quite a long time. He's going to have to give up. The triple goes the way of XZ. A 3 for 2 with the buyback, but the Ancients are secured for CDEC. That's about as good as it could possibly get for Newbee.
And they threw everything in. It was the smoke gank towards the Ancients, the Tide Ravage, all the ultimates coming out, and it was barely a break-even. If anything, it's a CDEC favorite exchange.
And that exchange, the fight recap, didn't count the Ancients, and it didn't count that kill that just came about. So even then, you're still looking at a 1 to 2K gold swing favoring CDEC, and now, gods, they've got a minute and a half with no Ravage to start making moves.
Yeah, and Aggressive only barely went down in that exchange, too. It was like mid-blink out when a Plasma Field caught him, which was a bit unfortunate. It looked like he was going to live.
And they're going to steal the Ancients.
Oh,
CDEC are just...
There's no Ravage.
They are just choking Newbee out everywhere they move. Ready to team fight, ready to pressure early, playing the economy game, warding the Ancients. They're the full package right now. But they might have to be careful here. Q is dropping fairly quickly to that initial Plasma Field. As Rabbit tries to latch on, stealing XZ's damage. He might be able to finish off Q. Aggressive in position to slow him down. Can get off the Shadow Strike. Newbee, 5-manning their own Ancients just to hang on. But I think CDEC want to go. They've got A snowball at the ready. Walrus Punch prepared. In come the shards. It blocks everybody out, and there's no Ravage. They need this Anchor Smash at the very least. Aggressive still looking for the opening with the ult. It's on cooldown for 20. Snowball forward. Punching Moo up in the air as Shiki annihilates him and then goes back for a bit more. The Grave Outside Jade is going to find Rabbit too. Somebody deal with this Templar Assassin. No, they can't. XZ has the shards. It's 4. About to be 5 if he can secure the banana kill and without a TP. I'm not sure where he's going. The scream, the ball, self-nightmare, deny, uppercut, see ya again. 5 dead. A slaughterhouse with CDEC's name written all over it. This is just a tour de force from this team.
This is how you play the Tusk Undying. That is just a sight to see. Newbee make kind of the right call, I want to say, focusing down the tomb. But while that's happening, there's a 70 HP Witch Doctor getting off like a full duration Death Ward on them. There's just too many problem spells and heroes going on. There's the Tombstone you got to focus. There's the Death Ward you have to cancel. There's a TA who's just doing so much damage just by being level 11 at this stage of the game and having max refraction and meld, taking out heroes so damn quick in these fights. And Newbee just don't have enough answers to all the problems that CDEC are throwing at them.
It would be one thing if they were just like dominating that bottom lane, but I mean, it's everything. It's the Ancients being warded early, the quick rotations from Aggressive, the well-placed traps by Shiki giving them vision, the willingness to go steal the enemy Ancients, fighting whenever the Ravage is down. Last game, avoiding fights when the global silence that they had was down. They are playing complete Dota right now. Here we go. Newbee reduced to the 5-man, it feels. 4 mid, 1 top, so not a full 5-man, but that may end up costing Rabbit, who's way off on his own. He's got the stick charges as well as the drum. He's not even going to bother using a drum for this. And now mid, Requiem was thrown out. Shiki refracts and is going to survive. They even committed a Ravage just to try and get poor Q, who's surrounded by this, but Garter has dropped the Tombstone. Moo Graved, held, kept alive for now. Shiki trying to decide who he wants to kill first. He wants the Bane. He almost gets the Shadow Fiend. Shang to fall as well. And Newbee routed again, and with the ults on cooldown, it's Roche time for CDEC. Into the pit and onto an Aegis.
Yeah, that was a great time for Shiki to have a double damage. Not that I think it was really even the deciding factor, but it just made things that much easier for CDEC. Not to mention that much easier to follow it up with a Roshan. The item advantage is just getting nuts at this point. You've already got a mech up on your support Undying. XC on the Tusk has a Blink, Earn on Arcane Boots. Q's got a Medallion. TA's Desolator just 50 gold short now. Everybody is just packing heat.
Oh my goodness. Does he almost have a Deso?
Oh, and there's the Orchid. So there's an Orchid on Quap and a Deso on TA. 15 minutes in the game, you've got problems.
They can't do anything now. They can just silence the Dazzle. He'll never get a Grave off. They can blow up any of these cores in a quick combo, like a snowball in with these items. Even if they turn with the Ravage, they just can't kill the Tombstone either. It's just so chaotic when... I feel like that's one of the big things with the Tusk. He snowballs in, and you don't see the Tombstone when the fight starts. It just suddenly pops up while you're already running for your life, and you can't run from it, and you just can't focus it off the bat. It's going to be tough for Newbee to take these fights, so they try to split push again.
They may be forced to defend high ground here. Is the Deso on the... Yeah, Deso's on the Courier, so that's going to arrive with the Orchid. I think they just push high ground. That's
you go high ground here.
Even if you're not actually getting a lane of Rax, you're forcing Newbee to come TP back and defend.
If they wrote it down, gods, they know there's 40 seconds until a Ravage. There is a glyph, but they can at least force it out.
Oh, that's brutal.
That feels like an Aeon.
Rabbit needs to like get in front and try and static link Shiki, but you put yourself in so much danger to do so.
Now, CDEC could overextend here. They do have to be careful not to start diving tier 4s. That's where the combo of Newbee can get scary. A long duration static link and potential for big AoE plays. But Moo is just going to split push. He's always been a calm and steady presence for
top.
this team.
CDEC, they're going to back off.
They play it safe.
That's the thing. This team, as aggressive as they can be, they're so disciplined.
They just flip the switch. You know, it's like, okay, now we're going to dive you to your well, and now we're just going to farm on our side of the map and have wards everywhere.
They're really good at just picking their moments of when to be aggressive, and then they see Newbee kind of posturing to make a traditional high ground defense that could cause them some problems. They say, yeah, let's just wait. TA's, yeah, we've just got our Deso Orchid, like we've hit our first big item timings, but these are item times which are going to allow us to dominate a fight on an even playing field. We don't want to risk it going high ground until we have a BKB on Templar Assassin.
Back to the Ancients, the site of many a destructive newbie engagement. This time, there's no contest. CDEC get it for free.
Yep. And they'll probably just start working away at these tier 2 towers. Much easier to
Well, even a tier
to
1
pressure
top,
them.
a freebie if they want that.
Oh, gosh.
Cheeky can just solo that.
Getting ahead of ourselves talking about high ground sieges perhaps when there's tier 1s.
I mean, honestly,
top lane, move.
In trouble.
Vizrin.
He does have the Envis and no detection. Oh, they may be considering fighting this. They do have a full duration Fiend's Grip, but Cheeky, the Aegis carry, not the hero you want to go on. XC throwing out the shards here, blocking Banana out of his own base. Playing it safe. Moo still strutting around Invis towards the top side of the map. CDEC just waiting and farming. It looks like Shiki's Blink should come soon. Maybe he goes BKB, but when you're ahead like this, it feels like the Blink is the item.
Yeah, I think
he's going to have it soon.
The Blink, and then you get your BKB later, and that's probably like around the time of the second Roshan, and you can go for a high ground push with the Blink plus BKB. Magical TADD rune has also spawned for him, awaiting at the bottom river.
At your service, sir. That plus the Blink might actually just be a high ground push. They will be lacking the Aegis, though. That's the one unfortunate thing here for CDEC.
Yes, still plenty of towers to grab, and even like there's just more items, more levels. Like you're Undying, hanging a level 2 ultimate, getting another point in the Soul Rip can be handy. Witch Doctor's still just level 8, so
they are using the map well, but finally Newbee want to get out. Shiki dropping a trap here. They bring 4 around. And do they have a smoke? No smokes for Newbee.
Ooh, Mook. Oh, almost got hit by the snowball during that TP.
Ooh, close call. He's close to a BKB here. That could be an item that allows them to turn this a bit, but there are answers for BKB. There's a Death Ward, the Tusk Uppercut, the zombie slow going
Sonic
through
Wave,
BKB.
TA in general.
Yeah, I mean, it still helps,
yeah,
but it's not a full solution.
It's still the only real item you can go for here as a Shadow Fiend, yeah.
And CDEC, they roll up the tier 1 top lane. They press forward onto the tier 2.
This is maybe a more handy item. The Tide Blink comes up for June, so Blink Ravage, SF probably will go for a Blink after his BKB just so we can get that instant follow-up, and that's when Newbee kind of have some hope for their team fight. Blink Ravage followed up by Blink Requiem, and then you get Rabbit running in looking to clean up. Still some ways off, and still kind of wishful thinking when you talk about it that way. But
XZ is hunting Banana. He's hungry, wants a snack. Uppercut. There's the cast, the Maledict, and maybe a self-deny. No, he tries to sleep XZ. That's not going to work. And down he goes. So a quick kill. And just map control maintained for CDEC while they await this next rush.
Tusk is 2.6k. That's
what's the build here? Shadow Blade? You get like a pipe?
I think you go. Well, you've already got the mech, so utility's okay.
Undying.
So that's the thing. You've already got all your utility items. You've got the mech. You've got the medallion, which will probably
you don't even need a Deso, which is normally like the carry Tusk build, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to like a do you rush a Lotus Orb or something? Do you need you don't really need a Lotus Orb this game. Maybe a Vlad's. Vlad's would be good.
Vlad's would be pretty good. I like that.
But depends how much of like a DPS threat he feels like he needs to be. And I would say he doesn't need to be a damage threat at all. He can go absolute complete utility. Lincoln's is a possibility if you're worried about a Fiend's Grip or something, but even that's like too big of an item for this early on in the game. He goes Shadow Blade, so run around, more mobility. It's so early on to buy it, and Newbee is so poor that having to buy sentries and detection is just going to be another hit to their economy.
We've hit a very dank score here, Gods. Not sure if you caught that, but
ooh,
it's.
I trust that's what you're here for.
It's a meme lord's dream right now. They're probably hoping there's no more kills, but I don't think CDEC are going to answer their prayers soon enough. With this next Roche respawn, they'll be looking to really take the next level of objectives. For now, it's just consistent gold being accrued, slowly pulling ahead. It was a Shadow Blade, and move just to let him know that there is a Tusk on the prowl. They'll punch him in the jaw.
Yeah, so CDEC kind of definitely slowed things down here. Another double damage rune spawning, although they don't have vision on that one. And Cheeky heading down there. He's just been farming Ancients all day long. The Radiant Ancients, his own Ancients. The gold advantage is just getting bigger and bigger in CDEC's favor, and this is going to become a big problem for Newbee.
And this time there's a DD rune with Roche potentially respawning soon. Newbee do finally make their move. They've got a plate mail up on Rabbit. Some pretty cost-effective items here picked up across the board. If they can get that Dream Ravage, quickly blow up a couple supports, there just might be a chance, or at least that's what they think. But with top lane pushing, CDEC are just ready for this move. It's almost too predictable, and now it's their turn to smoke and their turn to rush down mid. I think they even saw Banana retreating.
Yeah, they'll see heroes spawn at top, so now they can kind of plan where they want to go based on this. Maybe just look to get some map control. Well, you ideally don't want just map control. You want to find some pickoffs here, but there's a lot of wards floating around here, and they've got a gem to deal with them.
You're talking about wards. CDEC want wards, and they also want to dive. They're primed to pounce on the banana. Sentry will go down first here, and now they look for Moo. Shards come in. It's a double D ward. Both teams losing theirs. Sentry for Nobs.
Yeah, so the gem on Q, a nice little pickup. You want to just starve Newbee, keep them in their base, prevent them from being able to get too much done. Unfortunately, they missed the Radiant Observer on the cliff, and the dire ward that he planted deep got immediately dewarded. So small warding victory for Newbee, let's say. that's about all the victories they're getting right now.
Trading a sentry for an observer, and actually they had to plan a second one, so it was 2 sentries for an observer. I mean, that is about all they can count on right now. Anything more is going to require some serious outplay. They are waiting for the runes now, and meanwhile, CDEC waiting for the Roche respawn. They've got a trap in the pit. They've got wards surrounding it.
I'd love to see Shiki just go
straight Daedalus.
Straight Daedalus, yeah. Like, with an Aegis especially, just go ballsy. Straight Daedalus, yeah, there's Ravage, Requiem, but...
And you know he's going to get the Aegis. Yeah. I mean, the chances of Newbee walking into the pit and actually taking a fight, they feel so small. Because if they blow that fight, they have no Ravage. They're going to have no Requiem, most likely. And CDEC go down mid with an Aegis and a DD rune to try and just take a full lane of Rex.
They do have another smoke, which they are going to pop now on the Newbee side.
They want to fight before anybody congregates in the Roche pit.
I'm probably worried about Roche going down now. The problem is, like...
This is so risky.
You have to just camp the Roshan pick, because TA can solo it. So even if when you see 3 or 4 heroes on the map, you never know. Roche could just be going on while that's happening.
Looks like they should get XZ here, though. The Shadow Blade not going to be enough. They get dust on him. And now they go. He can snowball install this one. Directly forward, then the blink out. Don't tell me he escapes from this. You gotta shut him down, Newbee. 5-hero smoke rotation out.
Easy.
Played again. This is just painful to watch.
Got a... What, they have Weave? Did they use the Weave, or was Dazzle maybe not there?
No, they had all 5 there.
Yeah, they need to use the Weave or save the Plasma Field or something, but... Just, I mean, great play from XC. That's the beauty of the Tusk Blink Dagger. It's such a problematic item to have to deal with.
Yeah, defensively, offensively.
Tier 1 tower backdoor. There's like a creep wave pounding on their tier 3s, and they're just trying to backdoor this bottom lane.
And that won't be allowed either. As Moo gets trapped towards the corner, he's got the BKB. No TP scroll for Moo. This is going to force Newbee to engage here. Quickly, the Tombstone drop down. Oh, almost dead already. Healed up by the Dazzle. Pops the mech. BKB still in line. Aggressive has the ultimate, and he's going to kill him while BKB'd. Moo is executed in front of his team. They're helpless. The guillotine ends him. There's the Ravage, though. Good turn here by Newbee, but is it enough? Probably not, considering Shiki hasn't even showed up yet. He comes in, and we'll TP out. Run, boys, run! They get 2 out. But they will lose 3 for 1, and they blew everything. The Ravage, the Requiem. Well, actually, they didn't get the Requiem off. The Fiend's Grip, and the Roche's respawn. CDEC will take it. They didn't even have the TA for most of the fight. Never even used the BKB. They didn't get the tower either, gods.
Yeah, it's getting somewhat desperate here for Newbee, and they're going to be fighting into this Aegis here, and that's where they just got to buy out any item they can. Looks like, yeah, Shiver's Guard going to be coming out for Rabbit. He's 400 gold short, though. He will have it probably for the high ground defense here, but Ravage still on cooldown. That's 100 seconds where if CDEC want to rush things, they can go for that high ground push now before Ravage comes back up.
There might be a Shadow Demon on cooldown at this rate. Dazzle on the run. Or not Shadow Demon, Shadow Priest, rather. They do TP. Sang Shang going to die anyway. There is a sleep, rather, under the tower. Trap coming through. And XZ looking to go here. He's going to have the combo soon, and they can tower dive this with a BKB. Shiki, not quite invincible, but the snowball's going to help him out a lot. He may have overextended. He doesn't fully have the backup that he's looking for. They're going to heal him now. They drop the Tombstone, and what looked like maybe a Newbee turnaround, they have to back off, at least let the TA survive. They do bring down the Tombstone, though. Little bit overambitious by Shiki. XZ hunting. Nothing going to connect there. Had a fish. But that is going to neuter the push a little. With no BKB, the high ground dream might be dead.
Yeah, the Tide Ravage, 45 seconds away, getting closer and closer, but probably looking to, yeah, they're going to look to chip and poke away at this mid-tier 3 tower. We'll see if they look to commit during this small duration before Ravage comes back up.
There's the weave. Will discourage CDEC a little bit. They slow down XC with the Shivas. And I think they should have the Ravage up, Gods.
Yeah.
There's still a glyph.
They're buying time well enough here. Unfortunately, nice plays from Shiki where if he gets static linked, he's just blinking back, not allowing Rabbit to steal too much damage from him. But they seem to keen on just sticking around this time, at least for now.
And right as you say that, the caster's curse kicks in and they run away.
Yeah,
but they are going to stay in an offensive posture here.
I farm out the enemy ancients as per usual, farm the enemy jungle. It's where a newbie actually getting anything on the map apart from whatever creep waves arrive at their tier 3 towers, and it's really nothing.
I mean, is this really happening again? Another double damage
rune
bottom.
There's been a lot of DD runes this game.
I'm starting to suspect Mr. Shiki here. Somebody call Gabe. We need a full investigation.
It's gone to the Witch Doctor though, so
he's
DD
actually
Witch
that's
Doctor.
the second time Q has stolen his double damage rune.
Surprised Shiki didn't keep the bottle and drop the Aquila, but I guess the bottle went to a different hero who could potentially make use if you get like an Invis rune on a Witch Doctor or something.
I agree. I think generally you do keep the bottle there, but well, with somebody else holding it, it's not totally wasted.
So they'll make another move towards the mid lane. Still a couple minutes left on the Aegis and everything online as far as spells go for both teams, really.
It is a little tricky to go high ground against Newbee, as ungodly far behind as they are. It is a strong high ground defense lineup. If the weave kicks in, they get the long duration static link off on the TA, and Moo doesn't die off the bat. Well, that's a way to start it. They may just be able to hold this and drag this one out a bit longer. I mean, at this point, Newbee, they just can't afford to be losing when they have yet to grab a full win in Group B.
Yeah. The Daedalus is going to be a really nice pickup as far as ending the game, just because it allows you to go for those blink meld strikes, and if you insta-crit someone, you one-shot them, suddenly the push gets a whole lot easier because it's 5v4. So you need that insta-give potential to really become a big threat for the push to work. With the BKB, the more defensive option from Shiki, it's surprising. As much as normally you think, okay, you go BKB to help you push, the way Newbee are defending the high ground, just kind of passively kiting them around, you really need that burst potential.
Oh, I'm sorry, Moo. Did you think there would be ancients here for you to farm? Nuh-uh. No siree. There's the shards. They're going to engage on this, perhaps. Moo is BKB. They want to force this thing out if possible. Sigil flies high. Quap bolt over the top. Aggressive going in. The BKB's thrown out. And now Banana. Trap will slow him even further. Decay spammed as well. They haven't even deployed the Tombstone yet. They find Banana. Now the Tombstone thrown out. That's not the right position for it. Well, that'll be dealt with rather quickly. CDEC, they get one, but it's a BKB charge. It's a 5-hero commitment. Even the double damage Witch Doctor getting in on the action there. And it doesn't lead to an objective.
Not a huge win for them, but at the same time, Newbee's not really getting too much done themselves, so it's... I
just feel bad for this poor Bane of Banana right now.
Yeah, it's been a rough game for supports in general on the Newbee side. 0-6-1 on Sancheng, 1-8-1 on the Banana Bane. Looks like the Aegis will time out, though, so a successful defense in some ways for Newbee. They don't lose their tier 3 tower.
It reminds me of that game that you pointed out from IG. I think it was on day 1 where they just sat in the base though.
Yeah, against Fnatic.
At some point, you have to get out on the map, even if it's risky. You need to take risks. Try to find some farm. We've seen it from Eternal Envy multiple times this event. Even Arteezy in their loss earlier today to LGD. They got active. Well, as soon as Newbee tried to get active, though, this is what happens. They jump in with Shiki. He looks to go onto the Tidehunter, drives him back immediately. Queen of Pain ult doesn't connect on him, but it still brings down the Bane as Sancheng tries to hold the line. They never finished off the tomb. Rabbit's got to go back for it. He does clean it up, but Moo is being auto-attacked down by a freaking Queen of Pain. XE, the one to get the last hit. And everybody just on the run. Shiki, one more shot. June Blink disjoints it. Well played, sir. But not well played enough to save Rabbit.
Oh, he's going to die.
And he does die. He might even want to buy back here. There's a Ravage, actually. I don't know if you buy back.
Well, the Razor buying back will probably force CDEC to reconsider this push. And
there's no Requiem. Shadow Fiend BKB also on cooldown, so I don't know if they can really go offensive here.
Yeah, I think this is time to retreat. You're going to have a Roshan respawn in 2 to 5 minutes, and
then you go, because at that point your TA has the Hyperstone. It looks like Assault Cuirass will be the choice. That gets to a point of ridiculous minus armor where buildings will melt. That's minus 12 on a building that is 22 armor.
everyone's just filthy rich. Like the Queen of Pain, Queen of Pain's actually topping the net worth. Is the crazy thing this game still.
Feels like he's mostly been farming aggressive, but I mean that's all you need to do right now. Just keep the lanes pushed out and wait for the next stages.
He's had absurd farm since the game slowed down. It was funny. It's just the way he played the first 10-15 minutes where he was TPing bottom at level 5. You wouldn't expect him to have this kind of items, but once the game hit that kind of slow point, he really just power farmed his way to a lot of items, and these items just have come from nowhere. Shiva's Guard about to be completed as his 4th big item. This is a scary Queen of Pain.
That's putting it mildly. Even Witch Doctor's got himself a Solar Crest now. And you look at Newbee, and it's really all physical damage at this point. With the BKBs on the cores, you can't count on the Requiem damage or the Ravage. So you're left with a Weave, a Static Link, and right-clicks from the minus armor of a Shadow Fiend's presence. And the evasion negates pretty much all of that. Uh-oh, XC prepping up for a kill, and he doesn't want Rabbit. He really likes Sanjay. Maybe he's going to cancel the TP. Oh, he's a jerk. You got to walk home.
I thought he might just run past and try solo kill Sanchik, which he probably could have done, is the sad thing for Sanchik.
I was expecting the same.
But, yeah, just mess with that kind of split push a little bit and playing with Newbee's head at this point.
Get ready to boil that Rabbit. Newbee got their Ancients for the first time in 20 minutes. I don't know if you caught that. That was something.
That's a big proud moment for them, perhaps, this game. They haven't had much go their way.
Yes, you blow the celebration horn.
They're already ringing home and letting their parents know. Mom, Dad, I finally found the Ancients.
Aren't you proud of me? No, son. You suck at Dota. Hopefully their parents don't say that.
One TI championship's not enough for me. That boy S4 was talking about it in his interview how he's going to win 2.
These parents are tough, you know. They believe in their kids, but some of these Dota parents, they expect success. No, I've been really touched by most of the videos Valve has put together so far. It really gives you some nice insight on the players behind the names. Here comes the smoke. A long,
you want it
risky
active.
gambit.
This is good. This is the kind of
they have to.
Yeah,
I mean, they really do have to just get out of the base. If you wait until CDEC comes, then CDEC knows where you're going to be.
Oh,
it's never going to work.
Sheik
Sheik even blinks in, but he's so tanky. If he BKBs, I don't know if they can bring him down. He's almost already killed off Moo. Grave comes out super early into the fight. The Tombstone dropped on the backside. It's going to prevent a retreat. Moo frantically trying to Requiem. The quad bolt cleans up 3, and now Rabbit on the run. No escape. GG. Newbee never had a chance and never had a lead. They end this game down 30,000 gold, 35,000 experience. CDEC just made the TI4 champions look like noobs.
They pummeled them. This was so decisive. And so much of it was just incredible play from CDEC. By no means did Newbee look like weak or there was no real individual misplays at any real points. They kind of got outlaned and outmaneuvered in various places, and I think even the drafts just favored CDEC a lot for the most part in the 2 games where they just had a clear strategy in mind where Newbee were kind of reacting too much. But it's not like the Newbee we saw like during DAC where it was just complete horrible misplays, getting solo killed in lanes, doing all kinds of weird things, missing chronospheres. I mean, Newbee are playing solid Dota on an individual level, but CDEC they're the full package. The synergy's there. They're playing as a team. They're playing aggressive. They're getting objectives. This is a team to look out for. I can't wait to see them go up against EG later, I think tomorrow.
Honestly, the way they're playing right now, that match is going to decide the group. If CDEC even tie EG, they may have an inside shot at taking the group. I think EG already has 2 ties so far.
Yeah, tie against Newbee and I think VP maybe?
Yeah, so, well, CDEC still got to play the big boys, the boys in blue, who looked good in eHome in the first game, but we will see more of CDEC. Next up, they've got a date with Vici Gaming, and I would say a fairly desperate one, Gods. Not out of it, but they need to start getting wins at this point, which a lot of teams are in the same position, so... we'll see if CDEC can bring the same fire and fury Stay tuned, guys. I'm LD, he's Gods, and we'll be back for our final match of the day in a little bit. Vici Gaming versus CDEC coming up next.